Hi, my name is Eddie C., and welcome to my Positive Podcast. I'll bring you positive stories of people from all walks of life because everyone has a story to tell. Hi, everybody. I'm Eddie C., and this is MPP, my Positive Podcast. I'm your host. And today I have a very special guest from the Philippines. He's based in Paris, and his name is Camilo, and he's a visionary artist and does this beautiful work that you see here. Hi, man. Nice to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, Eddie.
All right. So can you tell my viewers and my listeners a little bit about your background? Because you're from the Philippines.
Yes.
And how you got started with your whole artwork.
So I call my artistry crystal artistry. At the base, what I use is I mix both semi-precious and precious gemstones. And a good story to tell there is really I was based in the Philippines and I discovered doing yoga. And I've been part of this community who has brought me to many universes, so to speak, in terms of spirituality and alternatives, etc. And I have been warned by my yoga masters that, hey, you're falling in love into gemstones, and the worst thing that could happen, you're gonna grow your collection from quantity to size. And what I didn't realize is that now I realize it into this form of artistry. At the base, I collect all of these stones, and so my yoga master is correct. And so when I have moved 5 years ago into Europe to pursue my studies, I realized I think the gemstones are following me, or maybe I just have a good sense where to find them. And so each time I would move, I would buy a stone. And it did grow my collection. What is special is that I have changed my collections by adding something on top of it. I did start with birds and I continue with birds, but from time to time, I change the animal that is going to be placed on top of it.
Okay.
Altogether, this is now what you see under Carmelo Paris.
So your Camilo Paris collection you have here at Seraphim, where we are doing the podcast.
Yeah.
It's very, very beautiful pieces. So people, if you get a chance to get to Antwerp and you come to Seraphim, the Art of Living here on the Kloosterstraat in Antwerp, you must come check out this beautiful work. I want to go a little bit deeper into that. So if I look at this beautiful structure here, the crystals and the bird, and man, it's the dimensions of it. Can you tell a little bit, for example, this piece here, how did you come about this particular piece?
So what I think I would like to start, what is my intention? My intention has always been to create beautiful objects by the use of or taking inspiration from vulnerable subjects. So in my artistry, I really like a good representation for all the vulnerable subjects that I collect in my path. Mm-hmm. And that could be my very own experience or the experiences shared with the community I'm in. Okay. In this case, this is the falcon, which is a good symbolism on bravery and courage, and I think it's very apt in my life because after 5 years overseas, I think I found a good stability, a good form of stability, and I wish to celebrate that by the use of a good imagery. I think more people, I'm celebrating my humanness, and that simply means I'd like to see what I feel. I'd like to be reminded to have a symbolism on what I have gone through. In this case, more specifically with the Falcon series that we will be presenting exclusively here in Seraphim, I did use of, there are 3 components to a Carmelo Paris crystal art object.
Okay.
We do have the bird crystal, which is making use of the semi-precious or the precious stones. In this case, we have lapis lazuli. Mm-hmm. For this part, we have the clear quartz, which is very raw. It is very new to me that I touch it, but as you see here, that's not me who created it, it's nature. So that's another dimension I'd like to share.
So if I look at this particular piece here, this part here was just naturally made. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's amazing. And then the base, you have a certain...
This is a black obsidian. Mm-hmm. Of course, throughout my journey in this type of artistry, I listen to my audience or I listen to the community. Mm-hmm. What I wanted to say earlier is that I really don't touch the base. And it's so new to me that I put a pedestal, so to speak, that is very much polished than raw. So this is very raw and natural. Right. And this is very man-made. But the base material has always been the same.
Okay.
The use of gemstones.
All right. And taking the falcon, this is like one of these pieces you sit this down. It looks like a special award or something you would present. A trophy kind of award you would give to someone. Can you go a little bit deeper into when you saw I know you were saying about your yoga teachers and all, but if I look at the crystals and the way and the details. Tell a little bit more about that vision. How did you come about that combination?
So I think the beautiful part of what I do is that I co-create or I even play with nature. So it's seldom that I take commission work just because I think clients, I mean, I'm open for that, but then clients would tell me what stones they like. But in my process, when I work with the atelier, it's first instinct that comes first. And so what I'm trying to say is that crystals have energies, and the use of crystals in my vision has always have to be instinctive. I sort of understand, or I feel I have a deep connection to the crystals that I see in my path. Wherever I will be getting them, in my travels or maybe in a store, there has to be a connection with me and the crystal.
Okay.
And so what it brings me there is that inspiration comes so evidently. It's almost like a gift from nature or the universe that I know what to do with it.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
So when you're going to look for your crystals, how can you describe that a little bit for my viewers and my listeners? How you go about that?
Well,
Let's say you're starting completely from scratch. You say, I'm going to make whatever. Or how do you come about that?
Yeah, for beginners, when I started, I really wanted to have a very specific intention. So in the world of gemstones, you would carry an intention, whether it be love or abundance or clarity of mind, and you go to a store and it's almost like talking to a doctor. You share this intention and a gemstone expert would tell you what stone would be best for you. That's chapter 1. Fast forward to the chapter I'm in now, it's almost like I use my meditation practice to raise my awareness in order that I can speak to my higher beings. And then it's the work of the universe to bring me out of my surprise to the stones that would be useful towards that intention I carry.
Okay, you mentioned a little bit about that about your meditation process. That process is that something you're doing on a daily basis, and is it a longer period of time that you're doing it per day, or give me a typical Camilo day, for example.
Yeah, so I wake up very early in the morning, early, and I start off with a good meditation practice.
And what's very early for you? Like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning?
No. I won't exaggerate because I'm in a season now that I wake up at 2 and start working. But on a regular day when everything seems normal, I wake up at 5:30 or 6.
Okay.
And then I start with, a journal. So I wanted to warm up with that. And then I do my meditation, good 30 to 45 minutes, if my time permits.
Okay.
And then I go straight to yoga, which is the more physical movement of it. But then what meditation, I think for your viewers or your listeners, what meditation simply means is that I observe my breath. So as soon as I wake up, I do my journal, and I wanted to talk or just simply observe my breath. I am not trying to avoid my thoughts. I'm not trying to do anything, but to really recount the pace of my breath. Because a yoga master did tell me, if you can control your breath, you can control your life.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's right. It's back to a rhythmic thing, eh?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, this is very interesting. I really appreciate your vision about how you speak about this. Now, getting to Paris, how did that come about?
Yes, that began actually 5 years ago when I had to pursue my studies overseas. And it happened during the pandemic, so it was scary for my family that I am going overseas and gonna try something very new. I had to turn my back on whatever I have built in the Philippines. And I was in the MBA space where I was doing my graduate studies, and I knew I wanted to be in the luxury arena. And I did find opportunities elsewhere that permitted me to keep traveling despite the pandemic. And it's only 2 years ago that I set foot in Paris and realized that, okay, we're gonna grow our roots in Paris.
All right.
Yeah.
And how has Paris been for you experience-wise? Because it's a different culture than coming from the Philippines, of course.
For sure. I started in Nice, right? So it's only 2 years that I started growing my roots in Paris, and it can only get better. Only because I did start from zero, and that was the first collection I tried to manifest under Carmelo Paris, was really finding stability again and again. And so I had birds to symbolize that. Now that I speak the language, now that I have a community, now that I have a job, now that I know which what places to go to and
Right.
recommend. It can only get better from here. I'd
And,
like to
and
think.
you're still a young artist, man. You got a whole life ahead of you.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, um, I got another question because now you've got some of this lovely work sitting here in Seraphim in Antwerp. How did that come about?
Oh, that's really nice. So I have a friend who is part of Seraphim actually, and he's a very good friend. And so he surprised me, same as Paul, and he wanted to visit Paris. And I don't know how to share it. I was in the space of like, okay, is this a serious thing? Is it a passion? So I didn't want to share it to him until conversations led to another. We love to talk. We love to discuss so many things like what we're discussing now. And it led me to conversing, hey, I'm trying to do Carmelo Paris. So last year, I attended my first art fair. I took the plunge of like really exposing myself to the world, and I invited him. And with his permission, he liked what he saw, and I said, I'm pretty open where my art objects will be displayed. And so he talked to his family, I suppose, or he did not speak to his family. He just said he could try, and then now we're here.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful. And your collection is going to be here for a limited time, or is it going to be here for a?
I mean, at the base, what I do are unique pieces. So I don't have much stock actually. We're only talking about, I don't know, 15 pieces max. And so until supplies last, as we would say.
Everything is a one-off thing. I know. I did that with
Exactly.
my photography as well. Yeah.
Now you understand, like,
Yeah.
we can't really assure the audience on like until when we're here.
Right.
But that could happen in terms of like, maybe it's gone out of stock, etc. Or Seraphim changes a different path, which we will respect as well.
Oh, wonderful. I got a couple of questions still left before we finish off. My first question is, you know, you're a young talent with a whole future ahead. What would you tell some younger talent coming up? A child of 7 or 8 that's interested in art of whatever form. How would you tell them to be a visionary like you are?
Oh, if you are 8 years old or maybe at that age, please have fun with it. Don't overthink. It's not fun to overthink art. Please enjoy whatever you are trying to create, and maybe share it to your community, be it your family or your friends. But if you grow older and you wanted to really pursue this more professionally, I would advise them differently. Could I answer that? Please lean on fear. I think fear is not celebrated as much as I want. As I did create a masterpiece about finding beauty in fear, and it's so rare that I find in my community that they tell me to face fear, and so I wish to be that ambassador about fear. And if you are listening, please. It is our job to find beauty in fear. It exists for a good reason. It should be valid to be around us.
Put that energy into beauty.
Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely.
All right. My last question before we go is, if you could describe visionary in your own words within a minute, so that you can sum it up.
Oh, being a visionary or a vision?
Just visionary. Being a visionary. Yeah, just being a visionary in yourself.
Visionary. Wow. Okay. The first thing that came up to my mind is if you are a visionary and people say you are, I don't know if I believe that, but thank you for saying that. I would just lean on believing what you say. And I think therefore it's a gift. So if it is a gift, then it's meant to be shared.
Well, this is what you're doing with your art form.
There you go. So then it's meant to be shared. Recycling what I said earlier.
Right.
Me now, as you say that I'm a visionary, I wish to lean on fear, because as a visionary, I probably am the first in the space, or I'm trying to like carve paths for others to follow pursuit. And being alone, being first, is fearful. And there must be a gift why I was called to be a visionary, and why I now understand this form of wisdom I find in fear. And so being a visionary must be a gift, and your gift must be complemented by fear.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, on those words, here's my quote for today. I think being visionary in general is, once again, starting from what you see in front of you, but also what you see inside of yourself. It's also a form of rest, peace, taking the time and listening, not only listening, but using all your senses to follow what's in front of you and also to live in the moment that you're in. And when you do that on a day-by-day basis, I think anything that you want to visualize in your mind or achieve will come together. That's this podcast for this week, and I want to thank my guest, Camilo, for coming and sharing this wonderful artwork here in Seraphim here in Antwerp, the Art of Living. And please, if you're ever in Antwerp, come check out his work. I'm sure you can find him on the internet. You have a website as well.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for tuning in and watching MPP, My Positive Podcast. I'm your host, Eddie C. And see you next time. And remember, stay positive. Well, you just saw my interview with Camilo and his beautiful artwork. And now we're going to interview after the break one of the faces here at Seraphim, and that's Rafaela. Hi, everyone. I'm Eddie C. from MPP, My Positive Podcast, and I've got great news for you. You can now become a Patreon and help to support my shows by becoming a positivist. For only €5 a month, you'll have exclusive access to special events and other shows that I do alongside of the podcast. You'll also have the opportunity to have an AMA with me. That means you can ask me anything once a month in special sessions pertaining to each subject. Not only that, but you'll also get 30% off on the web shop. That means caps, t-shirts, scarves, and other merchandising that we'll bring out in the future. And you'll get a newsletter each month where I talk about my updates and special events that I will be organizing. For more info, please check out my Facebook page or mypositivepodcast.com. Become a Patreon, tune in, and stay positive. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to MPP, My Positive Podcast, and I'm your host, Eddie C. Today, I have a very special guest because she's not only one of my guests, but she's also one of the faces here at Seraphim, the Art of Living here in Antwerp. Please welcome my guest, Rafaela.
Hello, Eddie. How are you today?
I'm fine. So, we're here at the heart of where the whole podcast, the video podcasts are starting to take off. I got a question. So tell me a little bit, because I know you're doing, you do promotion. You're more or less the promotion person and taking care of all the social media here, together with your mom and your sister. And so tell me give me a little bit about your background, because you're from the Philippines, and tell me how you got here to Antwerp and everything.
Oh my God, it's a short love story. And it started during COVID, and me and my family just had like this wild idea of just combining all our talents together. And it was because of one of our brothers who was so impressed by the city. He loves art, he loves history, and you find it all in Antwerp. And he brings us all here as a family and shows us his world. And we saw it, and we trusted all of what he thought of Antwerp is, and we said, let's go, let's game on, and no questions asked, right? And it started out like just an idea, and then we brainstormed, and all of a sudden everything was just flowing. It was going to a movement. Wow. And here we are on our third year in Antwerp.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes, that's the love story.
Alrighty, and so tell me some of the things that you doing, because there was a restaurant for a while at the Pilgrim House,
exactly,
which is how we actually met.
Right.
And now we're focusing now more on Seraphim with the different things that you want to do. So can you tell a little bit about the transaction from one to the other?
Yeah, as I said, we just trusted everything, and we started with that vision of maybe like what is one form of putting all our time together is just going to be in a restaurant. Mm-hmm. So because we're a huge family, so it's just there that we can just be ourselves. Mm-hmm. And at some point of time, we said, hey, this is consuming as well, and we want to focus also within ourselves, within our own talents, and also like go out of the box, of the
Right.
safety box.
Right, right.
And so here I am with my mom, and we're more focusing now on the interior, and and then that's also my career. Actually, I'm an interior designer,
All right.
and that's yeah.
Well, the interior design. What I know you personally. What got you involved in that? Is that something that you always had when you were little child, and it kind of.
Oh my! I guess everybody's born with a hidden gift, hidden talent, and it's always been my journey of exploring that. And I've been always into beauty, and it comes up to be that my mom was always traveling around, and through her travels, she comes home with so many treasures. And every time I come home, the setting of our home just changes, like almost every week. And she inspired me to do this. And as a family of traveling from the Philippines to Europe, and then also to Africa, so we gathered so many inspirations and just so many richness of the world has to offer.
Right,
And we turn out to put it on an interior, yes. And
Oh well.
yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about some of the work that you have here, because I mean, there's like when you come to the shop, which is it's like it attracts a lot of people. Like, and I know I've been here. I come here often myself, and I bring people in because it's a fascinating place.
What can I say? I guess it's just like a reflection of that diversity of just the natural environment where we grew up, which is the Philippines, and balancing it out from what is already given here in Antwerp, which is the history, and just bringing the beauty out of all these things together in harmony, and they seem like not to fit, but they do fit somehow. And I cannot really tell you like what's the magic with how we do it. It's just like,
it just comes together.
It just comes together.
And that's how you came on the name.
Exactly.
The art of living,
The art of living,
as your quote, as your basic your theme behind it. But the name Seraphim, how did you come on that?
Oh, it's actually it's from my brother Paul. He said, "Hey, Mom, let's look for a name which is more iconic. It's something more mystic." And it would be this angel with the 6 wings. I don't know the story behind it. I'm sorry, but that's only the thing I know. That's something he wanted to have, something which is extraordinary, something what we have as a shop.
It's also a bit biblical as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about you as a person. I know you're a fantastic cook.
Yes, I try to.
Yeah, and so tell me a little bit about that part. You know, because I know that was a passion of yours, because you worked a lot in the kitchen. When you're cooking, you're involving your roots and along with new things, because now you're here in Antwerp and you're coming from the Philippines. Is that a sort of a fusion of things?
Yeah, like putting a plate together is exactly just designing a room as well. You just play with different senses. Instead of playing with your eyes, you play with your taste buds. And so that's how I saw my position. I never was a cook. I love eating good food, but then I could also trust myself and my instinct. Hey, I think everything that I would like to eat, I think I could also let somebody enjoy the same plate as I am enjoying, right?
Right.
And then so that's how we also coined out to name ourselves, hey, we can definitely give them the art of living.
Right.
The people who are a little bit confused, they don't really know how to choose, and now we're doing the job for them, and then showing them already a showcase that they might think they might be inspired.
Okay.
And and see the art that we see in living, and we just transcend it both in one spot.
Oh, that's wonderful. And you outside of your cooking, there's this social media part about you. You do the promotion and because you're like this radiance of light. When people come, you walk in and they start talking to you like. boom, you know. That's something that you have. That's a great gift. Can you tell a little bit more about your how you go about that? Because you know you're from the new generation.
You know what? I'm actually no. I'm so old school. I tend not to use it, but I like telling a story, and
Okay.
it helps me engage with social media through video making or like just photographs that
Right.
create a story. And this short clips is also like a commercial. I want to tell you and show the people here in Antwerp or someplace else
Yeah, right.
that this is a story. And that's it. Actually, I just snapped up some stories. I don't know.
But I know I caught you. I know I caught you off guard when I say I'm going to interview you in one of my shows.
Right.
And so.
So unprepared.
But that's the nice thing about this show. It is quite unprepared. It is based on, you know, living on the moment, and you're part of the art of living. So I like to get that part out. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions still before we close off. My first question I want to ask you is, you know, you're from a younger generation than I am, but at the same time, you have a very wise old soul in how you in the way you are with people. What would you tell your generation as far as being creative? What would you tell them to look for in life?
I guess, you know, it's just really just enjoying the moment and just making the best out of that moment. You know, make every moment magical, because time is the most it's the most holy grail that we have. You can never turn back time, and there's no space for regretting. And that's the thing I would always say. And doesn't matter, like, live life to the full. It's like, you know, I have to party. No, it's not that. It's just like living that good impression of being kind to each other, and that you can sleep good in the end of the day and say, hey, I'm reflecting back. I had some good chats. I met some new people. You know, it may be just a small acquaintance or not, or something more deep. But then, yeah, you let that moment just happen. You know, yeah.
And okay, my other question would be, can you describe for you what it means to be creative?
Creative, wild, because I never thought myself of being creative. That's why when you ask me, I'm like, oh, actually, I'm just snapping some pictures. But no, I'm still on that phase of my life where I'm still trying to gather that confidence of what my talent are and how people perceive this, you know.
Okay.
And I'm trying to accept and still see what the gift is. That's why when you ask me, hey, interior design, how did it happen, right? And I told you it's just all about my exposure, my mom being my idol. And I just wanted to also bring up or put more life to what she has shown me as her child. And I see the beauty what she sees. And I guess that's just, I don't know, being creative. Everybody can be creative in their own ways. It's just a matter of interpretation, I guess. And everybody can find their tiny inspiration in any kind of art, right? It's we're all different from our beings, so we can always not be saying, hey, everything that I create is for everybody. So I guess it's just trying to find also those people who you really just reconnect, where your energies also just match. And just have your eyes wide open and just broaden your horizon to the open world, I guess.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing things about yourself and your family. And it's, you know, we've known each other now for a few years.
Thank you for having me on this hot seat.
And we will thank you for having me on at this location. And being able to do these shows here. I appreciate it very much to you and of course to the rest of the family as well. I feel like always a member of the family. You always
Yeah.
are, Uncle Eddie, I guess
Uncle
you would
Eddie.
say. Well, listen, on that, I'm going to respond with my little quote for this particular episode. We're going to talk about being creative. I think being creative is something which is an enrichment of your life. Because as long as you stay creative, it keeps you young, it keeps you vibrant, it keeps your blood flow, it keeps you healthy, it keeps you mentally aware. And it gives you a vision, it gives you a lot of love, it gives you a lot of joy, it gives you hope in bad times. As long as you can be creative from within, you'll be able to be creative from outside. And I want to tell you, it's most important to take a moment, look back at what you create, and enjoy it as well. So until next time, this was Eddie C. on MPP, My Positive Podcast. Stay positive.